Hi, and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. Today we are recreating 5 Sim Lane from the original Sims game almost 25 years ago, and 5 Sim Lane in that game was the Goth family manor. So today I have built an updated version of the Goth family manor. It is base game only, it has no CC, and this time I fully furnished the inside. So when I say updated version of the original, what I mean in this case is that I used the skeleton of the original floor plan from The Sims, but I did add on to it just a little bit upstairs to accommodate two children, since in The Sims 4, the Goth family has the parents, and then Cassandra is a teenager, and there's another child named Alexander. Because Alexander Goth was not in the original Sims game, he's been in the later ones though, so I added a little bit more space upstairs to make a bedroom for him. In the original Goth Manor, there is a cemetery in the backyard, and it has 8 headstones. So I put a bunch of headstones here, 6 headstones and 2 statues, just to kind of diversify it a little bit. This is base game only, but I feel like this could be really fun to play if you have Life and Death installed, the newest pack, because that has all sorts of things about cemeteries and graves, mourning, more about the Grim Reaper. So definitely would be a space that if I downloaded with that pack, I might remodel or make some adjustments to. But I like the way that this turned out. It is, in my opinion, kind of close to the original in that it's a nice little square in the backyard, but it definitely has a lot of updates. In addition to using a lot of terrain paint on this lot, I did quite a bit of terraforming. I ended up putting the house on just a little bit of a hill. I think it makes it look like much more of a manor. It's actually not that big, as in the house is not as many tiles as you might think it is. It has a pretty grand look, I would say, but it's on the smaller side of building. It has 3 bedrooms. The parents' room is on the ground floor or the first floor, and the children's bedroom is on the upper level. But I kind of had to squeeze the children's stuff in there, and I still only gave Cassandra a twin-size bed. So it is a bit of a space crunch for what it looks like on the outside. When you download The Sims 4, the base game, the Goth family lives in Willow Creek, and I think they live on a 30 by 20 lot. I'm not exactly sure, but this one is a 40 by 20 lot in Newcrest. It is, I think, called Sandy Run, but it's a pretty unique lot, and I think the home does fit nicely in the neighborhood for what I have planned for it. I'm trying to remake the Newcrest in my save file into a bunch of original Sims replicas, so I've kind of mapped it out. The only things I'm unsure about right now are what community lots I'd like to do, because I want to have one in each neighborhood, but I'm not sure if I want to keep them all base game only or if I want to branch out a little bit, because I'm pretty sure I want to have a bubble tea and thrift shop, and I know that's an expansion pack. I think the high school years expansion. I'm working on a base game only build of Custer's Lounge right now, which I think is from The Sims Superstar. I think it's from the world in that. And I do have it classed as a lounge, or zoned as a lounge. I'm not exactly sure what you would call it, set as a lounge, which is a base game lot. So that is working out. And I also have it kind of set up where I think if you wanted to turn it into something else, depending on how you like to play your game, I think it would be pretty easy. Like, it's a multifunctional lot, but it is zoned as a lounge. But I'm just kind of torn about what to do with the other ones. I wish there was a gym in the original Sims, because whatever it was, I'm sure it would be fun to rebuild, and I'd like to put one in this world. But other than The Sims Bustin' Out, which is console, I don't see one. So we'll see what I do with that. I think I mentioned I did furnish the inside of this house with base game only items, but it's not really accurate to the original Sims furnishings. I did have some homages in there, like I put in a blue couch in the living room and stuff like that to try to point toward the original objects in The Sims, but some things like an upright piano is not in base game, and there is a grand piano, but I tried a couple different ways to fit it in the living room, and I just couldn't make it work with where the door and the staircase and things like that were. I also did change the floor plan on the ground floor a little tiny bit. I put in an office between the living area and the kitchen, like where the bathroom door is. Not even an office, I'd call it an office cubby, something like that. And I also added on the top floor, instead of putting a roof over the lower portion, I put a balcony. If you ever feel like you're in a Sims building rut, I would definitely recommend looking to houses in the old Sims games or just floor plans for houses. If you just search on your web browser house floor plans, and you can put in tons and tons of keywords, whatever you're looking for. In this case, it might be something like Victorian mansion floor plan, family mansion floor plan, something like that. And you can narrow down bathrooms and bedrooms and how many stories you want. There's just so much that comes up. I also like to take inspiration from places that my friends live or my family members live. Like, I think I've created all my aunts and uncles and cousins' houses in The Sims in some version at some point. I also find that searching for interior design videos on platforms like TikTok can be really helpful in finding inspiration, because there are so many people who are into really niche design styles who show their spaces, and it's just incredible, other people's creativity. And I really like when people pick a theme and they commit their space to it. I love a theme. I respect a theme. I think it is so fun when you go into someone's space that they've created for themselves and it reflects something that really interests them or just a unique style. I'm sure a lot of us have seen things like Zillow Gone Wild, which is so fun to look at. A lot of those spaces, though, that I think are supposed to be like something we're laughing at a little bit, I think are really fun, especially when people have a mansion from the 1980s with mirrors all over it or something, which is not something that I would ever think to do in my space now. But sometimes when I see it in another house, especially one from that era, I am so hopeful that the next owners will not tear that down, because I think that's so cool. I think this is going to be one of my longer videos because the home is furnished, and you'll see I put some extra things in here that were not in the original 5 sim lane in The Sims. So I put a gazebo, I put a little space for the trash cans and a fence in front, and I did a lot of landscaping and then decor. But I do not have anything to yap about for 20 minutes, it looks like. So I'm probably going to put on some music, but the build is on the gallery. Please enjoy watching and download. It's base game only, so anyone can use it. And thanks so much.